Good morning. I have with me Dr. Ramya Ananthakrishnan, who is the director of TV Reach program based in Chennai. She's a community medicine specialist from Chengalpet Medical College, and she has been working with tuberculosis in the field of TB, especially with community system strengthening and improving the quality of services with community health, as well as improving the private public partnership models in the TB programs. So it's an honor having you here, ma'am. So I wanted to ask you, maybe can you briefly give an overview of what TB Reach program is about?
Yeah, thank you very much. I represent REACH, an organization based in India. We work in the space of TB care and prevention, and we've been working for the last 25 years. In the last 5 years, we've also been working in the space of TB and comorbidities. Two core areas that we work is one is the private sector engagement, and second is working and empowering with the affected communities. So we have been getting the previously unengaged stakeholders to participate in the TB prevention, and we find mechanisms and strategies for getting them involved.
Okay. So what do you see as were the challenges when you're doing community system strengthening, right?
So I think one of the most important challenge is the community buy-in and the community participation itself. Because no matter the type of technology that we use or how robust those technologies are, unless there is a community buy-in, and unless they are willing to uptake it, it will not be useful. So it's very, and I think that's the fundamental challenge. How do you get the communities on board? How do you convince them that whatever program that we do, be it in TB or anything else, is good for their community health and is an important priority. So that is where we need to focus on primarily.
And like how do you have like numbers of how this has improved over the years that you've been working? And or is it geographical presence or like improved notification rates? Do you have any kind of a number if you can? Or
Yeah, see, when we say community engagement, right? REACH, we work primarily by engaging the affected communities. And this has grown over the last, especially 5 years, in a phenomenal manner. Because if you see 7 or 8 years back, the TB program, there was a very limited involvement of affected communities. And then there was a phase when affected communities were involved more for tokenism, that they have to be part of discussions. But there was no meaningful engagement, and sitting across the table, getting their inputs, and listening to them, because they have the pulse of the communities, right? These affected communities, they are the bridge between us and the communities. So, and they know the pulse, they know what they want. So there was no two-way conversation, and that is what we have fostered over the last 5 years. We started with a small cohort of 15, and today we've expanded, and we see that thousands of TB champions across the country are being trained and empowered to work for TB care and prevention. In fact, Government of India has adopted this and have announced that they would like to have 2 TB champions at health and wellness center level, 1 male and 1 female.
oh, that's incredible. Yeah, I should be proud of your efforts. Yeah. And as a clinician, I can imagine like a lot of the TB cases. By the time I've only worked in hospital settings, and by the time the patients are reaching us, it's really late. So I think this is an important step to actually act early, and that's where your group has been doing incredible work. So Yeah, so that's been great. I wanted to understand from, uh, like, I know there are chest X-rays and all these in the communities, but there was a lack of expert, like readers, to interpret the chest X-rays, right? So that's where our technology comes in. But I want to understand from your perspective, how do you think technology can help these kind of community empowerment initiatives and TB screening space in your perspective? Yeah.
So, when we talk about technologies, right, and I think the very first step is convincing a person with symptom of TB to come forward to getting themselves tested, right, and that's where the community participation and community engagement is very important, because if you look at the health seeking, in fact, the recent prevalence survey which was done in India by ICMR found that more than 60% of people with TB do not come forward for health seeking. They have symptoms, but they don't come for diagnosis or for screening. So I think what is very important is the community engagement and participation is very critical. But once a person with TB is mobilized, they need to be immediately provided that service.
Yeah.
And at that time, we can't be scrambling, saying that there is no access to chest X-ray, there's nobody to read the X-ray. So I think that is where technology and a solution such as yours, AI solution, plays an important role, because it helps to have a ready-made solution when these people are mobilized, and is quite independent of other variables.
Yeah, and also, like, it's so important to finally link them to treatment and possibly the contacts to be investigated as well, right?
Yeah, so this is I mean, on one hand we have a person with TB with symptom who doesn't come forward, but if you look at now TPT is mandate of the government of India, and there's plans to scale up, and here we are going to be asking people who do not have symptoms to come forward for screening. So then that is more difficult and more challenging as compared to a person with symptoms. So I think that's where these technologies play an important role in providing that access to a good diagnosis and screening tools.
But do you think, like, how do you think it's feasible to, like, we've deployed it in many ground level settings where community health workers go home to home and screen, right? But what do you think do you think there'll be any challenge for them to adapt? Okay, one thing is the cost involved, right? But a lot of the times we do it with grant-based funding, is how we do. But do you think any other challenge, like, do you think people will be convinced to do further testing, sputum based on just an AI report? What do you think of those kind of scenario? If like let's say in a lot of African regions and a lot of Indian active case finding settings, there is no healthcare worker who's involved, right? Sometimes it's just a community health worker who is actually making the call. Chest X-ray is abnormal, you need to do a sputum test. Do you think that would be a big challenge in settings like you're working in India? Do you think that's going to be a difficult process to adapt?
I don't think so, because I think people are tuned to X-rays and the report that comes out of it, right? And see, you never see a radiologist. You only see the report. And I think so instead of the radiologist, you have the AI generated report. So I think what you outlined, I don't think would be a challenge at all, because it's not like a family doctor where they actually physically see a doctor, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So you get same goes for the blood test. So they give blood, or they give a urine sample, they give a sputum sample, and they get a result. And we are saying something similar here.
Yeah,
right? So
exactly.
if the concept worked there, why can't it work for X-ray?
Yeah. Did you have any other insights that you wanted to share in general about?
Yeah, so I think especially the use of AI tools will play an important role where there is dearth of manpower, where you're doing extensive active case finding and we don't have access to radiologists in tribal settings to get the results quickly. Sometimes it's also useful in private sector setting where the individual clinicians or individual doctors, when they have access to these reports, so that is very important. So I think it's opening up a lot of possibilities, and I'm excited to see how this goes forward.
Yeah. And also the fact that it can go beyond TB as well, right?
Yes.
Like it can be helpful in heart failure, lung cancer, or COPD. Those kind of pathways also we can think of beyond TB, right? And yeah, so it's been really interesting. I just want to add one last question. What inspired you to work in this TB space?
Well, no, I think I joined NIRT, National Institute for Research on Tuberculosis, in 2003 because I was interested in research, and then and that's how I got into TB, and that's how I became part of REACH also.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's really inspiring and great work you're doing. It's like we are really thrilled to partner with you in some of your initiatives. Yeah, and hopefully a long-term collaboration. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much, and all the very best to the crew. Thank you.